Relate fractions, decimals, and percents. There'll be a lot of converting that's going to happen today. And the nice thing is that they all are pretty much the same. Or in other words, we can convert any fraction to a decimal and or a percent. We can convert any decimal to a fraction or a percent, and we certainly can convert any percent into a fraction or a decimal. It's like saying the same thing in 3 different languages. Okay? It means the same thing, it's just written or expressed in a different form. Okay? So let's decide how we want to tackle this, because you're going to have to take spectacular notes today, not notes that you feel like taking whenever you feel like paying attention. If you feel like paying attention 80% of the time, you won't get 80% of the problems right. It's not how math works. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go fractions to decimals first. Okay. So you're going to start this little section of your notes that says fractions to decimals. I'm going to convert fractions to decimals. Okay. And we've done this before. This is review, but it's going to be really nice to have this all in one nice, neat, and tidy place in your notes, so that when your homework for today tells you convert this fraction to a decimal and as a percent, you'll be able to refer to your notes to be able to do that. Okay, that's why you take notes in the first place. So if I have the fraction, for example, 3/4, okay, very common fraction, very well-known fraction, okay, and I want to convert this to a decimal. What are some things that you know about this fraction before we even start putting it into a decimal? What do you know as a basic rule about fractions and their overall value? Desi. Once it's in fraction form, what can you tell me about its overall value in relation to one whole? Frank. Usually less than one whole if what, Frank? If the bottom number is bigger than the top number, right? If this is a fraction, this is a regular fraction, it's not improper, we don't have a bigger number on top than we do the bottom. This is just an example of a regular fraction. It has a value of less than one whole. So I'm going to turn this into a division problem. And you remember, you told me this is less than 1. A pizza cut into 4 pieces, you only had 3. You didn't eat the whole thing. You had a good lunch, but you didn't eat the whole thing. So we need to determine which number will go on the outside, which number goes on the inside. Yeah. 3 goes on the outside, 4 goes on the inside. So let's take a look, remembering the whole time that what? Our value is less than, how many times does 3 go into 4? 1. Did we do it right? How do you know right away we didn't do it right? Mariah. You're telling me it's less than 1, but then I divide and I put it into a decimal, and I've got 1 point something. Can't do that. Doesn't match up, does it? I mean, I could finish this thing, you know, and get, you know, 1.3. No. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's take a look at what we should really do here. Let's try with the bottom number on the outside and the other one on the inside. Okay? Sometimes in order to learn how to do it right, you got to do it wrong first. So does 4 go into 3? No. There's the 0 I'm looking for in my ones place. 4 into 30 is 7. And then, oh, I got 2 left. Is it 0.7 remainder 2? No, Carlos, I got to add a 0. And then 4 into 20? 5. So 0.75 would be the decimal. 0.75, is that less than 1 whole? Is it close to 1 whole, just like 3 over 4? Yeah. So we're good. Question, Casimir.
So is this an expression for the bigger number? So you divide it?
Not the bigger number, the bottom number. Right. Bottom number always goes on the outside. Always, 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 always. Even if what? What can you tell me about this fraction's overall value? Is it less than 1 whole, or is it greater than 1 whole? Carlos, greater. Why? Because the top number is bigger than the bottom one. It's improper. If I were to change this to a mixed number, I would get 1 and 2/8. Is that greater than 1? Yeah, because it's got this extra 2/8. So Casimir is not always the bigger one. It's the one on the outside. Okay, the one on the bottom. So that one goes there, goes in once. 8 into 20, twice. 8 into 40, 5. 1.25. The fraction is still written as a decimal, because there it is. Okay, any questions there? You want to try one? Huh? You didn't say you were confused, did you? Because you see a fraction and you see a top number and a bottom number, right? And you know that the bottom number always goes where? Okay, not much to confuse there. So let's do this one. 2/5. Good. Make sure you circle that decimal in their answer. Good. Yeah.
10, like the last fraction we did, how to get the 8 to thing?
Because I've said that 8 goes into 10 once. That's why I put the 1 over the 10. Put the 8 there. Put that 1/8 there. Subtracted. Got 2. But then I got to bring a 0 down because I'm not finished with it. I'm not finished until I get it to equal 0. All right, great. Good stuff. 5 on the outside, 2 on the inside. You might as well go right ahead. Put that decimal in. Put the decimal up top just so you don't forget. Zeta's 5 going to 2. 0. 5 going to 20. 4 times. 0.4. Done. Fraction into a decimal. Yes? This one here? This is not less than 1 whole because my top number is bigger than the bottom one. It's improper. And like I said, if I were changing this into a mixed number, it would be 1 and 2/8. Is that less than 1? No. There might be. You know why it doesn't matter? Because you're always going to put what number on the outside? The bottom. The bottom number. Bottom. 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 Okay? So don't make it harder than it is. In math, there's usually a process, and you stay with the process. Don't make up your own rules. Math doesn't allow you to make up your own rules. You know, you're playing basketball on the playground, make up your own rules. Kickball, make up your own rules. Can't make up your own rules with math. The rules are there, you're going to follow them. Right, Tess? Okay. Let's go. We did fractions to decimals. Let's go fractions to percents. Okay. No. I'm just taking care of fractions to the other two first, and then we'll do decimals to fractions and percents, and then we'll do percents to fractions and decimals. Yes. Because none of it is really super hard, unless we decide we're going to make it hard because we're going to make up our own rules. Give me a fraction. Zay. 3/4. What did I learn today, or what should I have learned today about all your percents on that sheet that you had to work on, and when they asked you to put it as a ratio? What did you learn? What was always, always, always your bottom number when you had it in fraction form? Good. It was 100. So all I have to do to put a fraction into a percent is compare it to another fraction that has that magic number on the bottom. Because I know whatever I get, if the bottom number is 100, I can also call a percent if I want to. And if they're asking you to put a fraction to a percent, that's what they want you to do. So now it looks like any other proportion, or when I was solving ratios before, the first thing I always looked for was a relationship between the numbers that were already there. So can I get to 4, or can I get to 100 from 4? Yes. Times what? 4/4, right, Eli? Times 25. So 3 times 25 must be 75. So 75 over 100 equals. So if they ask you to write it as a percent, what do you absolutely need? Percent sign. Let's look at another one. 4/5. Fraction, 4/5. Let's compare it to another fraction with 100 as the denominator. Is there a relationship between 5 and 100, Eli? Times what? Not 50, but close, 20. So if that's how I got from one to the other was by multiplying by 20 on the bottom, multiply by 20 on the top, and I get 80%. Pardon me? Is that easy? Here, you try one. Oh, well, I'll give you an easy one to start. Give me an easy one to start. So 2 over 10, we're going to compare to another fraction with what is the denominator? So 10 times what gives me 100? So 2 times 10, 20%. What do we do if I ask you to put like 3/8 into a percent? So follow me here, watch. The first thing we're going to do is look to see if I can multiply 8 times anything to get 100. Sorry, there's no relationship there. Second thing I always looked at was to see if I could simplify a fraction. But 3/8 is already as simple as it gets. So if it's the last step, the step that always works is if I diagonally multiply, cross multiply, 3 times 100 is what? And then I divide by what's left. We've done this. So I'll multiply diagonally where I have two numbers diagonally. And then there's going to be one number I didn't do anything with. That's the number I'm going to divide by. So let's take a look and say 8 goes into 30. 8 goes into 60. 7 is 56. 8 goes into 40. 5%. Sure. Absolutely. You can have a percent like that. In fact, if you had a homework assignment and there were 8 problems and you had 3 right, that's the percent that you would have scored. I mean, that's an actual example. Okay? How can you give it the eye test and check it to make sure it makes sense? Just the eye test. The eye test means I don't really have to do a whole lot except for look at it and ask myself if it makes sense or not. 3/8 is really close to another fraction that I could use as a benchmark. Frank, let's not change the bottom. Let's change the top. 4/8. What's 4/8 equal to? Half. What's half as a decimal? 0.5. But this is just a little less than half, so this should be a little bit less than 0.5. But 0.5 as a percent is 50, right? So half is 50%. We can get that right. 50%, is this a little bit less than 50%? Yeah. Okay. You probably won't see too many like this today, but in the event that you do, you'll know what to do. All right, so what's left? Let's do decimals. Decimals to fractions. Okay. Oh yeah, we've done a lot of this already. Let's look at a very simple decimal like 0.6. But if I give it its proper name based on its place value, I don't call it 0.6. I call it 6/10. Now close your eyes and think what 6/10 looks like as a fraction, and it's 6 over 10. Okay? Here's the other thing you want to consider, because some of you might not remember your place values, especially in the decimal portion of your number when you start to get further and further out. How many places after the decimal did the 6 go? 1. How many zeros do we have in our power of 10 denominator? 1. There's a relationship there as well. Now, could I stop with 6/10, or could I go even further? I can simplify because they're both even. I can cut them both in half and say 3/5. Questions, A? So 99, we know is going to go on top. The question becomes what goes on the bottom. Liam, 100. And your 99, the furthest place it goes is your 100th place. So what this really is 99 hundredths. Yeah. Your denominators are always powers of 10. Okay? So 10, 20, or 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. That's why all the places are called that, Alexis. So, like, that's why this is your 10th place. It's not your 30th place. It's not your 50th place. It's your 10th. Then your 100th, 1,000th, 10,000th. Okay? They're all powers of 10. Yeah. Or better yet, what if we have one like this? It's 5. I can't call it, I'm not going to call it 0, 5. I'm not going to put a 0, 5 on top. So it's 2 places after, so it's 5 hundredths. Okay? Which, and to answer Liam's, let's say we have this. There's 2 different ways I can go here. I could say it's 50 over what? It went 2 places after? 50 over 100. Or I could completely get rid of this 0 because it's left over and call it 5. Now it's 5/10. Which doesn't matter because if I simplify either one of them, they're both going to equal 1/2. So it all works the same. Mm-hmm. Unless they ask you to put it in the simplest form. Any questions on decimals to fractions? Yes? Pardon me? On the bottom, you're always going to have a 1 with, depending on how many places, how many zeros you go, because they're all powers of 10. This is 1. This is just one example. This is one example. If you have 0.52, it's what? 52 over 100. I need the 2 because it's a 2. I didn't need that because it was a 0. And it meant the same thing, right? I showed you that. Sixty-four hundredths. Think about it. Think about it. 64 hundredths is this, right? Well, what percent is that? It's over 100. No, we don't have to just put a percent sign after it. What we have to do is move the decimal 1, 2 places to the right. So for decimals to percent, move decimal 2 places to the right. What if what? Give me one. Carlos.
Like 131.
131 what? Give me a decimal. Is that what you have? 131?
No, 1 4.
Where's my decimal?
What?
Give me where do you want the decimal in this number? You said 141. Where's my decimal?
Left.
Here?
No, upside.
Then it's not 141. It's 0.141. Okay. Can you count to 2? Do you know your right from your left? 1, 2 equals. Can I have a point and a percent at the same time? Sure you can.
But you always have to
2! Right! Don't make up your own rules. Because there's 3 digits here, you're going to move it 3 places? Doesn't make any sense. Point 1. 1, 2. So I need a 0 there. I got to fill in that place. Yes.
So it's like the single number, you got to be one for spaces and the number behind you all that.
You have to add a placeholder here. Okay. Good. You got it? Oh, do we have to do decimal to percent? Do we do decimal to percent? Percent to decimal. Oh, we got to do, okay. We can go right ahead and do percent to decimal. We did decimal to percent. We'll get there. That's the last one. Percent to decimal. Where's my decimal here? There it is. We have one more to do. We're not done yet. We're going to finish this. So listen, if for decimal to percent, I went 2 places to the right, then percent to decimal, I'm going to go 2 places to the left equals yep. 129%.
No,
1.29. Points 4%. Desi equals 0.004. Okay, so the last one is percent to fraction. Give me a percent. 40 what? 43%. Now, what did I learn on today's assignment when they wanted you to write the percent as a ratio? Put it over what? Ta-da! Can you simplify 43 over 100? 25%. Equals? 4/4 of a dollar? Good? Practice 17.2. Make sure you're looking at the practice side, not the homework side. Numbers 1 through 12. Let's look at the directions. They say write as a percent. So number 1 is 0.04. What is this right now? Liam? Decimal. So I need to do what? Decimal to percent. So find that in your notes, and you say, to get a decimal to a percent, I have to do what? Desi. So there's my decimal. 1, 2 places to the right. Makes this what percent? How do I know it's the percent? Because I put the sign there. Good. So go ahead right away. Number 1, 4%. When I look at number 4, for example, number 4 says 56 out of 100. What are they giving you? What does this mean? It means 56 out of 100. Fraction to percent. Get it to equal. Yeah.
So then, like, number 5 is 50 times 2 and then 19.
Well, let's look, can we finish 4 first? What percent is that? Casimir, I'm trying to show you how to do it. I'm trying to show you so you don't have questions about how did you get that? How did you get that? I don't understand that. There it is, the whole story. Okay? If I give you just the end of the movie, you don't understand why it happened. Any questions on 1 through 12? Now, open up your ears. Numbers 13 through 24. Read the directions with me right now. Write each percent in fraction and decimal form. Here's 13. They give us 8%. What are they asking for? Fraction and decimal. How am I going to put this into a fraction? 8 over 100. Okay? Bonus points to those who can put the fraction in simplest form. Now, the other part is I need to put this 8% also as a decimal. Where is my decimal in 8? It's right there. How do I get percent to decimal? 2 places to the left. So, 0.08. So for 13, you need at least 8 over 100 and 0.08. You need both parts. If you decide you're going to simplify, then simplify and put it on the line with the 0.08. Here's my warning. Feel free to simplify, but if you simplify incorrectly, it's going to be wrong, just like you had this part wrong to begin with. So if you want to run the risk to simplify, it shouldn't be that hard, but I'm not going to cut you any special breaks for trying to get the extra points. With risk, there is reward. No reward without risk.